Thank you so much. Incidentally, Mr. President, I mentioned to you that the candidate of the APC, Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu, was meant to be here. But I also show you a program that had been prepared long ago in which he was supposed to be at Ibadan, Oyo State, today. And I ask you to please appreciate that he asked me to deliver his message even before. All right. Hello. Let me assure you, if you do not want his message, I will speak my own. Then I will speak to you as former president of Nigeria Labour Congress. I congratulate all of you because, like Femi Falana rightly summarized it, although we have transited from military dictatorship to democracy, that does not mean that organized labor is out of danger. In all democracies, including Western democracies, and I'm happy that I had the honor of sitting next to the Deputy General Secretary of the British Trade Union Congress, labor movements come under attack by governments of the right and sometimes even of the left. So, notwithstanding the character of government, labor must be aware that to remain free, independent, and function, it must not take any particular government of any color for granted. You will recall, comrades, that even as a city governor of Edo State, I join you in a protest from Federal Secretariat to the National Assembly to reinforce your argument for improved minimum wage. I have no contradiction whatsoever in my mind. I have no doubt that my first and primary constituency, today, yesterday, and forever, shall be the labor movement. If you watch the interview I had 2 days ago with Channel Television, when they introduced me as former governor, former chairman of APC, I told the guy, I said, you omitted the most important one. And he asked me which one. I said, former president of the NLC. And he said, that is long ago. I said, but that is the most important job I have done as a human being. I am proud of it. If I were to be the president again, if you amend your rules and I'm favored by your vote, I will fight even harder. Even if APC, Tinubu wins election, it does not mitigate, it does not cancel the fact that there are class issues in Nigeria. And I believe nobody spoke to it more eloquently, more forcefully, more ruggedly than Femi Falana has just done. And by the way, if I am not a convict today, it is thanks to the industry, the resourcefulness of Femi Falana and our late great friend, Gani Fawehimi, who were always there to speak for us. And I'm happy when he made the point that even when the NBA talks about society, rule of law, we had a judgment that says you you deny the president the right to review policies. Anybody can go to court and judges issue black market injunctions day in, day out. But what I've come to say to you, and I'm happy that Femi Falana said it, and I don't want you to have any illusion as organized labor that whoever become president tomorrow, I repeat, whosoever become president tomorrow, I dare say to you, and you will soon find out. And even now, I ask you to listen attentively to their policy choices, so that you don't assume that because I wear your uniform, that my heart has changed. I can change my clothes. I can change my khaki. I can put on well-knitted suit as I do sometimes. But I remain the small Adam that I am. So I believe when you look at the Nigerian nation, no one can question that the only group that is pan-Nigeria, that discuss issues, not ethnicity, that discuss issues, not religion, that discuss justice, not for a few, for all. It is the Nigeria Labour Congress and a segment of the Nigeria civil society. I emphasize a segment because to be a civil society doesn't necessarily mean you are progressive. There are right-wing civil societies, as you have left-wing civil societies, as you have civil societies of the center. I'm sure you know it all. 3 days ago, and I'm not saying this because you are here, I said the challenge we face is for anyone to think that by virtue of the fact that he has been elected or he has been appointed and he has the power under the law to take certain decisions, he must worry not only about the legality of a decision, but the legitimacy of that decision. I was trained as a young trade union leader. The huge gap between what is lawful and judgment of the court and what you and I consider to be social justice, which is why you can go to court and get judgment that does not translate to justice. In the eyes of the law, you and I are classified sometimes as servants, and your employer as the master. And in the eyes of the law, the servant cannot question the master if the master decides to reject the servant. But the birth of trade unionism, as Alan Flanders wrote, put to an end the misuse, the misconception about what is called management prerogative. Flanders argued, and I believe we have tried to translate it and practicalize it, that the end of managerial prerogative was the beginning of the existence of trade unions. So I ask you to continue to fight for Nigeria. I am the first to admit, I repeat, I am the first to admit that there are battles, contestations, vicious contestations between and within political parties. Not only because election is approaching, this battle becomes even more intense after election, where you now try to reconcile promises made to what people are doing on ground. Somebody asked me just 3 days ago on channel television, Adams, you were APC man, APC chairman, now APC candidate. I said yes. And he spoke about this fuel scarcity and the rest of it. And this is where I'm not sure how I interpret Femi Falana's statement. There are forces in this environment, including those who have had opportunity to be former presidents, whether military or civilians, who want to take advantage of situations to reimpose dictatorship by talking or acting in a manner that will make elections impossible. And if elections are impossible, The only alternative is ruthless dictatorship. No organization has been a victim of dictatorship like the Nigeria Labour Congress. Every military ruler in Nigeria history interfered with the freedom of the NLC. They took turns to dissolve the NLC and appoint individuals as arbitrators to run the NLC. Therefore, I appeal to you that whereas our choices may differ, when it comes to democracy, there should be no precondition. No one is too good to impose himself as a ruler of Nigeria. We don't want benevolent leaders. We want those we can elect and we can recall, following the rule of law. Like Femi Falana said, I have also questioned, not today, I'm sure if you be monitoring news, you know I'm not saying it because you are here, that how can we accept that about 7 trillion naira is said to have been appropriated, not only this year, over the years, to subsidize fuel, petroleum products. But even to use the word fuel now, we have to be careful. Because in truth, they have seen deregulated diesel over the past 10 years. And as we speak, diesel costs about 800 naira a liter, depending on where you are. Probably costs more or probably a little less. And I paid 1,000 naira for a liter of PMS only last week. And I'm sure I'm not the only one. I didn't go to a separate market. I stand here to say those are not the policies of APC. And if there are elements in the system that are doing it, we disown them.
He doesn't belong to the political class that has